and welcome, episode 133, Red Leaf or Retrocast. I am JD, you are Colin, no Joey today.
Yep, he got drunk again.
He sure did. He texted me at like 5 in the morning, so that would have been 4 a.m. his time that he was just heading home.
Oh, boy.
So, I'm looking forward to that story.
Yeah, it should be good.
Should be good.
Maybe.
So, this episode, I was inspired in kind of a negative way. So, here in Rhode Island, Colin, there has been essentially zero snow all season. And I am a man who likes his winter sports, his winter athletics. Yes, Cat. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Jeez. Jumping up on the mic stand. All that. It's connected to a table next to it. You know the deal?
Yeah.
I got a very unique setup here. But anyways, the point is I love my snowboarding. I want to get better at skiing. So I'm like, okay, I'll go this year. Because I usually do a trip in January each year. You know, for a whole weekend up in like Maine or something. I've done it. I didn't do it during COVID. God, Cat, stop jumping off the table. Annoying. I didn't do it during COVID. But I did do it, like, each year I've lived in Rhode Island to go up, whether it's Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, whichever one. There's always a trip, and just didn't do it this year. So, along with the no snow in Rhode Island, I couldn't even get to the cute little mountain course that's like an hour away. The man-made snow just would never stick. So no snowboarding this entire year, this entire season. So that was, I was contemplating, I was deliberating. I was like, what games do we want to play? And it just kind of hit me. I was like, quick games, snowboarding games. Make sense?
Nice. Sure. That's as good a reason as any.
Yeah, and with spring, I guess it's spring now, technically. I think
Yeah.
it turned the calendar.
Safe to say, just flew by.
Safe to say there will not be any snowboarding this year. But damn it, I'm gonna play some fucking games.
Nice.
But over the last couple weeks, we did March Madness last time. We did your puzzle games. Last couple weeks, I did get a couple games. I got Wulong Fallen Dynasty. I've really been enjoying it. I think it's a game right up your alley, Colin.
Yeah. Yeah, I played a tiny bit of the demo, but then I got sidetracked by Returnal.
Oh my god, that's addicting. That is an addicting game. How are you finding Returnal before I go into Wulong or Wu-Tang Fallen Dynasty?
Well, you weren't kidding, JD. The force feedback on the PS5 controller is amazing. I mean, right? you can literally feel the raindrops hitting the ground in rainy areas. You feel each jump as well as when you hit the ground. And plus the controller vibrates when you're close to like treasure chests and such.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, the game itself really can be hard as balls. But when I get a good run going, I never want to stop. I mean, I've had 2 of those so far, and in both runs I managed to beat a boss and unlock a permanent new key item each time. Mm-hmm. It's like the first boss gives you a sword that you can use for melee attacks and breaking through energy barriers, and the second nets you a grappling hook that can be used for certain platforms and other hook points. And let me tell you, getting that grappling hook was so satisfying.
No game is complete without a grappling hook.
Yeah, and not just that, but in the first couple of areas of the game, you constantly see grapple points with items just out of reach. And it's like an itch you just can't scratch, but once you have what you need to get to them, it feels so much better. The game knows exactly how to tease you into progressing.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better PS5 exclusives out there. I'm very satisfied with it. Even if you only get like a few hours with it, I still think it's worth it, especially with the price it's going for now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm seeing lots of used copies on shelves and such.
Yeah, it's definitely getting to that point in time where it's just a pick up and play kind of deal, which I think is very good. We need more games kind of like that.
Yeah, for sure. For best results, drink coffee as you play.
Oh, yeah.
The caffeine really helps.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I spoke a couple podcasts ago quite a lot about my demo experience with Wu-Tang Fallen Dynasty. I can't help myself there. I've just really been enjoying it. I can't say it's a better game than Sekiro, but I can say I'm enjoying it more. Does that make sense?
I guess so.
Because Sekiro was too goddamn balls hard for me, and I couldn't get anywhere. While in Wolong Final Dynasty, I'm actually progressing in the game, and the game plays kind of just as fast. So I'm like, man, if this just had a better integrated story or something that you could get into, then I'd be able to say, hey, there's more to do here than my experience in Sekiro, just to kind of compare something similar to it. Can I compare it to the Neo series? No, even though it's made by the same people, or at least the same group. But so far, I do recommend it still. I still think the reviews are a bit overly harsh for it, but an 80 out of 100 on Metacritic, I think that's what it still has. Is still pretty good. If anything, I think the ratings should have more disparity. Between 40 and 100. There's too many games that are broken. They go, 60.
Yeah, for sure.
Then I picked up Octopath Traveler 2 finally. I threw that son of a bitch on. Can't really speak to how, I guess, large scale the story is. My main complaint of the first one was the characters' stories weren't interconnected enough or at all. So my hope going into the sequel was they found a way to do that the second time around. Initial impression is it looks like they just kind of upgraded and tweaked a lot of the stuff from the previous game, which game mechanics wise, I had no issue with Octopath Traveler. I thought it was a phenomenal game system with breaking the shields and getting to the weaknesses. Very simple formula. It was easy traveling round to round through different parts of the story. I loved that first game. I really did. So I'm looking forward to doing more of Octopath Traveler 2. But before that, I just have the games now and I play my 2 hours, and I really got to beat Fire Emblem Three Houses. I must do this. I am so determined, and yet I'm just not doing it. It's been so busy working late. Lots of bowling. Bowling season's coming to a close here. I'm seemingly bowling 4 or 5 times a week right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I did the PBA tournament a couple weeks ago. I did a tournament yesterday. I did okay. I got 3rd place on the shift, which isn't going to do much for the overall totals or rankings. But when my high game's a 240, excuse me, I probably cut out there.
Yeah.
When my high game's a 246, and I basically throw average, a little above average. That's not going to win any tournaments there. And it was a trios tournament, so you get picked with two team members, and they didn't do all that great either. So I don't think I'll be winning anything. So that's kind of disappointing. What else? I think that kind of covers the video game aspect of what I've been up to. How about yourself, Colin?
Well, not a whole lot has been happening on my end, although my sister is over from Germany for her birthday, so we're celebrating that later today.
Where does she live again over there?
I think she's in Berlin now. I know she was in, actually, no, she's in Munich. She started out in Berlin, then Cologne, and now Munich.
Oh, Cologne. I love that city. That's the best one. I didn't like Munich when I went there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I wasn't really a fan. It's a lot smaller than you'd think it'd be.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. And that whole region is just mountains and not for me.
Yeah, I've never been myself. though I really should get on that.
Berlin's kind of cool. I definitely like if I was to choose between those three, it would definitely be Köln. That's I just think that's one of the better cities in the entire country to go to.
Cool. Keep that in mind. But yeah, the other thing is I found out I actually can hook up a DisplayPort plug into one of the USB slots on the side of my laptop, so I may actually be able to hook a VR headset into this thing.
Aha. Boy, you're really determined.
Yeah. And on top of that, I learned how to upgrade the hard disk space and RAM of my laptop. I've since added a terabyte of memory, and perhaps soon I'll upgrade the RAM from 8 gigabytes per second to 32 gigabytes per second. Be proud of me, boys.
I'm sure if Joey was here, he'd have more to comment over that because he knows the specs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm doing my research. I'm making sure I don't fry this thing.
Oh man, yeah. Like I said a few months ago, I spent the money and I hoped I was kind of fixing my laptop a bit, but all I did was kind of replace all the old and worn out parts, and it didn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it didn't like quite fix anything. Not really, but I think I did extend the life another couple years.
Well, I guess it's kind of like a car. You want to make the thing last.
Yeah, like I do like this laptop, but there's gonna come a time when, pretty soon, for the next year or so, when I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and buy something that'll replace it. Anyways, any other games?
Well, I got back into Latent Mysteries on the Switch. I mean, the Puzzle Games cast got me wanting a bit more Latent.
Okay, yeah.
But let me tell you, this assistant guy in the story, he has no balls.
Is this the like 1800s one or something?
No,
not that one.
No, this is like.
Oh, you know what?
Layton's daughter.
I was thinking of Ace Attorney. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like Layton's supposed daughter.
Okay.
And yeah, she's got this assistant guy at her detective agency, and this dude is the biggest pussy I've seen in any video game. No balls whatsoever. It's like, dude, lift some weights, eat a steak, chop some wood, anything.
Chop some wood. Touch grass. Do something.
Yeah. Because every time he solves a puzzle, he's like, oh, thank goodness I got that right.
Oh, no.
I wasn't entirely sure. I was like, oh, my God, I just want to reach in there and grab him by the neck.
Thumb extra hard on the Adam's apple.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I also started playing the 2014 remaster of Strider. Now, that is a kick-ass game. It really emulates the whole heart-pumping arcadey feel of the original, but done better.
Go on. Keep going.
Well, not much I can say. I mean, we have reviewed the original Strider on the Genesis way back when. Like close to when I started.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's a very arcadey game. You can climb up walls, hang from platforms underneath. You fight with like a tonfa blade type deal. It's all in the distant future with advanced technology. It's all the coolest stuff of arcade games rolled into one. And I'm really enjoying it. It's probably not going to be a very long game, but that's fine with me. It's short and sweet. And aside from that, haven't really been playing a lot of games, though I have been watching a lot of Randy Feltface.
Oh, the puppet comedian?
Yeah, I just showed you a video pretending to be drunk driving.
I have. I think I've seen that before too. That one you sent me about the drunk driving, getting pulled over, and the euphoric feeling of doing it sober.
Yeah.
I'm definitely familiar with him. Well, let me ask you this: Have you
Yes.
made your pre-order for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom?
I have not. I've been lazy.
Because that game, if you like, this is a case where Zelda has such a rich and just good faith history to it all, where
Yes.
if you don't pre-order this, I feel that you're not going to get it for like a month.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, get a load of this. So, I did not pre-order Wolong Final Dynasty or Octopath Traveler 2. Okay?
Okay.
Did not pre-order it. I go on opening day, like release day, opening day. Jeez, baseball mode me. And both of those games, they just didn't have any like in-store copies. It was pre-order only. And I went to one GameStop, and then they confirmed like the other ones like nearby were the same case. And I just kind of called up Best Buy to see like what the deal was, and they just only had like 2 copies, and that was from pre-orders there. So there's something going on. my like tinfoil hats on. There's something going on in the gaming industry where like physical copies just aren't being printed fast enough.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, one was PS5 and one was, and even, okay, so then I go on Amazon like immediately, and I just order the game, and they said it would take like over a week to get it.
Yikes.
And I have the Amazon Prime, so it's supposed to be, 48 hours essentially, and they're just like, nope, gonna take a week. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It's very strange. So that's 2 games in a row that I've tried to get that I just didn't pre-order, because how could you trust anybody now? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Forspoken, Forsaken, or whatever that cringy game is, like, that was available just because no one like got it. I'm pretty sure that's a financial failure for Square with that game now at this point.
Seems to be, yeah.
Yeah, but like weirdly enough, I still, you know what? Side tangent. Just gonna keep going. I recommend you pre-order. Just throw down the $5 to get your copy in.
Okay.
I watched a review over Sonic Frontiers.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. I gotta. That's a phone call. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Let's throw that on vibrate. I watched a review over Sonic Frontiers, and they directly compared it to Forspoken in open world, vast, kind of a dreary feeling. The game mechanic of going fast around the world was good, and then you just have a lot of these like side tangent bosses and things. So essentially what they said was, it's the same game, just one character's blue and another's from New York. I'm like, okay. So have you seen any Sonic Frontiers stuff?
Not really. Haven't really been keeping my ear to the ground on that. Although, I think I saw the Zero Punctuation review of it.
Yeah, I'm like,
overall, it doesn't seem to be getting that great of reviews.
No, and it's strange because the game is actually made pretty okay. Like, it's pretty well done, especially for a Sonic game. I guess the bar's really low, but like in terms of the vibe and the kind of pace of everything going about it, and like the 30 different currencies you collect in the game, it's struggling of what it wanted to be. That's what it seems to me.
Oh, yeah.
You watch a Let's Play on it, and it's just kind of a lot of roaming and sad, dreary feeling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in a Sonic game? What the hell are they thinking?
Well, okay. How about I play this drop, and we can talk about some snowboarding?
Certainly.
Might be a bit quick today. Here it is. Okay, snowboarding, because if I can't do it, then at least I'll do it virtually. Yeah, I still need to get new boots and pants anyways. Kind of gained a couple inches on my waist. I'm fat, Colin. I'm fat.
Yeah, I think I need a whole new setup. New board, new bindings, new boots. Yeah. Everything I have is from fucking high school.
Yeah. Well, when I'm coming to Toronto this summer, hopefully the plan sticks through. No snow in the summer. So we'll have to get together on a Saturday downtown or something when I get there.
Hell yeah.
But as my cat headbutts my face, the first game we're talking about is Cool Borders 2 on the PlayStation. It came out in the fall of 1997. It is developed by UEP Systems, which I believe is an offset of Sony Computer Entertainment. Or at least it got to that point. Let me double check that. I'm clicking on the wiki right now. They kind of just did Cool Borders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rippin' Rider Snowboarding for the Dreamcast. I'll have to look into that.
Okay, yeah, I've never heard of any other games by them.
Yeah, it is Tokyo-based. It looks like they only made like 6 games, and that was it. So I wonder if they got absorbed by somebody. I don't know.
Possibly.
Let's see. It looks like they just folded.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so Cool Borders 1 and 2 were successful, and then they fell apart.
That's too bad.
Yeah. That would make sense why Cool Borders 3 and 4 were just vastly different games. Not made by the same people. Okay.
That makes sense.
So this is... funny enough, this does support multiplayer, but it also allows the PlayStation Link cable, if you remember that.
Oh. Go on. I don't think I know much about that.
Yeah. So that's when you were, the whole Halo LAN system that people would connect Xboxes together and TVs?
I think so.
That's PlayStation's like version of that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about like LAN parties and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you wanted a game to get to like 4 people, you would get the link cable together with your PlayStation that would allow multiplayer games to be a feature. So you have so what's cool about this snowboarding game and why it was, I played this to hell and back when I was young. Okay. There's a great number of courses. There must be like 20 courses. When you go and pick your characters and snowboards and like gear and stuff, there's a large selection to do. So there's I think there's 7 or 8 people plus unlockables. There's 3 types of boards you can pick and then different designs. And the 3 types of boards are all around, alpine, and freestyle, which have different characteristics. Choose them wisely for each course. I think originally there's about 12 courses, and then you can unlock a few more. So maybe 20 was over exaggerating, but they're all super unique from each other. If you notice that. So
okay.
just in like the first 3 courses, the first one is very basic. You kind of just have a right angle turn going through a town that's covered in snow. The second one is like you're going along cliff sides where you could fall. And then the third one is you're going through a fucking forest, right? And it just gets so unique from there throughout them. You can tell that I vastly enjoy this game. The one thing that I would say I wish it did a better job of was the sense of speed. It does seem like you're going pretty damn slow a lot of the time.
Ah, yeah.
And,
Yeah, that's where the other game excelled.
Right. Yeah, we'll talk about that one. But, the next generation was SSX Tricky and those kinds of games, and that's where they got, they were able to do a lot more with the hardware and really burn through a lot of what they, I think, wanted to do through these games. But in the era of PlayStation, like, there was never really any, like, real snowboard or skiing games prior to this. Not really. Like you had your Atari and NES, like just ski.
Well, there was also like Ski or Die and X Games Pro Border.
Yeah, not really the same though, was it?
Well, yeah, I think X Games Pro Border was more of a PC game because I remember playing that with my brother growing up on our computer. Although it was also on PlayStation. Did it come out before Cool Borders? Let me see.
Maybe.
Cool Borders 2 came out in 97 and X Games Pro Border came out in 98, so
yeah, lot with the success of the two Cool Borders games, you just saw this reaction from all the other consoles, Dreamcast, N64 and the like, and they all came out kind of the following year or following 2 years, because of course X Games also became super popular during this era. Like just the extreme sports. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was super popular, and the list goes on from there. Bam Margera's BMX games had some...
Yeah, Matt Hoffman's Pro Boarding.
Right.
Oh, no, that was BMX, I think. Wasn't it?
Matt Hoffman's
Matt
BMX.
Hoffman.
What did I say? Bam Margera? No, Bam was skateboarder as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's Sean White who did the snowboarding one. That's what I was thinking of.
That was later though. But anyways, the point stands. What'd you think of Cool Borders 2, Colin?
Well, I never played this one before or the first Cool Borders, though. Luckily, I have a PlayStation Classic, so I didn't need to hunt this one down. And like I mentioned, the opening cinematic reminded me a lot of X Games Pro Border because it's just like all the live action footage of all the pros doing their thing. I found it to be a bit of a blast from the past, seeing all like the old snowboarding brands. Not sure if they're still around. I mean, like Trans World Snowboarding was a pretty prominent one. Honestly, I found this one kind of stiff.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just like the way the controls are, it just feels pretty stiff. I mean, carving does help, but it slows you down a bit. But
yeah, you gotta pick. Yeah, you gotta pick your spots with the big carving technique. It's more of like a break, more than anything else. You need to. There's certain areas where, depending on how hard you press the button, is how hard the guy will carve into the snow for certain turns. The less the better, essentially, is what the game's teaching you.
Yeah. I mean, going first-person view is kind of fun. It reminds me of the Alpine Racer arcade game that I played the shit out of at the bowling alley as a kid. Even though I wasn't very good at it.
Yeah, I don't recommend the first-person mode for this.
Yeah.
Although there is a level, I think it's like course 8 or something, where eventually you get to this wooden rickety bridge. That whole course has just snow flying in your face the whole time, so that part's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really got as far as to unlock all the rest of the... What the hell?
Oh, sorry. Hit my mic.
Just heard like this crunch sound.
My bad.
But yeah, it's I never got as far as to unlock any of the other courses. Just had the main 3 that beginning. And I found it a bit backwards that pushing up on the D-pad slows you down, but pushing down speeds you up.
Well, yeah. So what happens there is you're actually causing the character to lean in that direction. So when you go up,
Yeah.
you're forcing the foot and the weight to be on the front of the board. So obviously you would be carving into the snow a little bit more. And then when you go, when you press down, your character is kind of leaning back and bending to give himself
Yeah.
less air resistance.
Yeah, you can tell I haven't snowboarded in real life in a long time. Yeah, playing both of these games kind of makes me want to get back out on the slopes, or
I know.
or get out to one of my dream snowboarding destinations, like Lake Louise in Alberta, or Whistler in BC, or Hokkaido in Japan.
Oh man, when I would take my trips to like Alberta, there was a couple times where I would end up staying the weekend, and I'd rent a car and go to the mountains outside Calgary.
Nice.
Oh,
Did you go to like?
very fun, very fun. I missed that. I never got out to British Columbia to do any of those though. That's kind of my one regret.
Yeah, did you go to like Marmot Basin? That's one I've been to.
No, it was nearby. I don't recall the names of those places. It's been shit. It's been like 7 years. 5 years?
Yeah, I think Marmot Basin was in like Jasper. And that's like actually I don't know where in Alberta that is. But
yeah, there was a couple other times I cuz I was in Edmonton most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was definitely closer to there, but I mean Calgary and Edmonton are pretty close to each other relatively in the sense of just driving.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways. But yeah, like God, just miss like this game with I think what they did was they added a lot of environmentals in this game, and they were not afraid to have clipping, little flashing. We talked about it when we were playing like NBA Fast Break or something, where there was just so many things going on screen that the players would flash or clip or something, but you'd still like get it. You'd get what was happening. And this happened a lot where things would come into view at the last second, but the way the course was designed was you can kind of know what's there. You can kind of see what's happening. Yeah, there was quite a few times where it's like just something pops in on you, and you're like, "Oh shit, what is that?" So the first few times you play through these courses, you'll be thinking that's kind of bullshit. But they did get very ambitious with the courses being made, how much they put into the game, and obviously I recommend putting the cheat code so you get the snowman on the frying pan. That is a character.
Yeah, and it's like 1080, or our next game also had like cheat characters too. So
yeah. Wish they'd put that. I wish they'd put those more in games now instead of like DLC and stuff. Get a couple like cool characters that we can unlock, or you beat instead of New Game Plus. Give me fucking new courses that you've programmed into the game. But nevertheless, so I passed Cool Borders 2. It's pretty easy for me. There is a lot of nostalgia I have for this game in particular, and picking it up, I was a little afraid that because you mentioned the controls were so stiff, I was a little afraid that the lack of speed and the stiff controls were gonna be too off-putting, and my rose-colored glasses would just be taken off and going, this game stinks. But I didn't feel that way. I felt like it was. Obviously, I don't think it's as good as I remember, but I still really enjoy it, and I passed the game.
Nice. I pass it too.
All right. The next game is 1080 Snowboarding on the Nintendo 64, a platform we don't really review all that too often.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people would rather us talk about Snowboard Kids, but when in this era, and I wanted to be more realistic in my snowboarding for this particular episode. This game was made by Nintendo and published by Nintendo. came out in early 1998, about late winter, early spring, depending on where you lived. This, I thought the graphics of this were better. I thought the speed was better. The controls were still pretty stiff, especially with the N64 controller.
Yeah.
And then what they did was, I think, what was there, only like 5 characters to choose?
Let me think.
I think there was only 5.
Like 6.
And then there was only like 5 courses. There was not a lot of variety in what we're doing.
No, I thought there was. I'm pretty sure there was like at least 9 or 10.
Well, so they had a couple like freestyle and big air, and I mean Cool Borders 2 had that too. So they're kind of adding that into it. I'm talking like the race courses.
Yeah, that is what I mean. So I played it last night.
But I think what this game did over Cool Borders 2 was this one, I mean, it's in the name, 1080, right? It wants you to do tricks. That's what it wants you to do. Could we say this is like a precursor to SSX Tricky?
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. So what'd you think?
Well, this is the one I played several times as a kid at friends' houses. It was always really fun. My character of choice was always Ricky Winterborn because he was the Canadian. No joke. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I mean, the voiceovers and animations are clearer and more detailed than Cool Borders, and the sense of speed is more present here. And although for whatever reason I couldn't figure out how to land like high jumps without wiping out.
Yeah, that was my difficulty too. Because in Cool Borders 2, if you try things like that, whether it's like getting the nose grabs or a flip, as long as you were like vertical, you were fine, right? In this, you really had to. I couldn't figure it out. You really had to be like leaning in a direction and land. I think they put a lot of realism into how the players would land.
Yeah. And I found it easier to figure out how to do tricks. Just because Cool Borders, I had a really hard time of it. It's like, in that, in order to do like spins and such, you had to like hold down the jump button and one of the D-pad buttons, the direction of your spin as you came up to the ramp, and then let go and it'll spin by itself. But in 1080, it was more like hold the thing in one direction and hit the R button and you'll get like an easy 180. Although doing a 360 and 720s, those were extra tricky because you have to actually take further than a 540. I kept trying to do a 720, but it just didn't work. Did you ever manage to do anything higher than a 540?
No, I was never able to do that. I know in Cool Borders 2, when I was doing my trick in the big air, is to just immediately out of the gate, you just hold down and left, and you'll do like a million flips and turns. And then you're just kind of praying that you land it right.
Yeah.
In this one, there was just so much nuance to it that I kind of just quit doing that, and I was just playing through the courses. So
yeah.
This, let's see, Fandom of 1080 Snowboarding says there's 6 raceable courses, but there's 3 modes to each race. So that's why we got more than that. But yeah, not a lot of courses comparatively, and that's one of the disappointing factors of going back to this era is when like Rally on the Dreamcast, the rally car racing game. You're like, man, this is fucking great. It's an arcade game, and there's only 3 fucking courses. And you're like, fuck. You want more. You want so much more. And whether it's the limitation of the time or not enough like memory available on these devices, CD, cartridge, what have you.
Yeah.
Uh, that's why, like, the sequels would come out, like, a year later or something. Like, because there was just a lack of variety in the game. Is that better for commercialism? Yeah, maybe, probably. It's like
Yeah,
all
I
the
can see
different
that.
iterations of Street Fighter 2. This game has 12, and then, if you get it next year with the Championship Edition, you'll get 6 more characters. And like, okay, that's the idea there. I guess you can compare it to DLC. Like, what? It's then asking the question, well, what's more satisfying to you as a customer? Are you happy with the expansions or sequels of the games, or would you rather just pay for DLC? I mean, my opinion of that is like, what's better for the product at the time. I mean, I just said, like, in this case, it was probably limitation of how much was available, right?
Yeah, probably.
And then as they got more time to work on it, maybe they were able to compress certain things better, or what have you. I know that's a bit of a side tangent there, but that just got me thinking about those kinds of things. But yeah, it's weird. I enjoyed Cool Borders 2 more. I think 1080 Snowboarding is a better game. Like, so many things are better in it, but it lacks the variety, and it lacks the environmentals for, like, the courses themselves. I think were severely lacking. Very plain through a lot of the time.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how the sequel 1080 Avalanche on GameCube stacks up.
I'm glad you asked. It does not stack up. I looked into this.
Really?
It is essentially the same game with a new coat of paint, with the same like almost stiff. It's almost stiffer controls, and it was reviewed as where did I read it? I think I read it on. I forget. I can't remember where I read it, but might have been. It's one of those magazines that I have. It was reviewed as the industry and technology has passed them by to who made this. Like, they just couldn't keep up with the expand because it came out in, I think, 2000. Let's see. When did the sequel come out?
Yeah, it might have been closer to 2002.
So it came out on the GameCube. Yeah, it came out in 2003. So many, many years later. Yeah. God, that's even later than I thought. Wow. But
yeah, I remember
what they did do is they had over 20 courses in that one.
Oh, yeah. That always helps. Yeah,
so,
I remember.
Yeah, wait, that might be worth, like, checking out, nonetheless. But SSX Tricky was already out by that time and really defined what the new, like, extreme games would be.
Yeah, and I wasn't afraid to be goofy about it either.
Right.
Just like breakdancing on your snowboard in midair.
Very important. Needs to be done.
For sure.
So, I did enjoy this game in a very different sense of Cool Borders 2. I have no nostalgia for 1080, because all my friends would have 1080, and I would have Cool Borders 2. So, it was a rare day when I got to play 1080. I'm still going to pass it, though, because there's a lot that it does better than Cool Borders 2, but a lot Cool Borders 2. I hold them equally, but I have more nostalgia for one of them.
Makes sense. Yeah, I passed 1080, and since I have more nostalgia for it, that's going to be my more favorite one.
Okay, so we're on both ends of the spectrum there. Okay,
yeah.
So Cool Borders 2 and 1080 snowboarding. Man. What kind of snowboard you got, Colin?
I can't remember. I think it's an Elan.
Ooh, okay.
I had a liquid at one point in my life.
Wow. I've been really fond of Solomon
brands.
myself, even though that's like a ski brand predominantly.
yeah, that's the same with Elan.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I need new boots, but that's it. Okay, maybe I'll be hitting the slopes next later this year or in January next year. We might have to like just meet somewhere in Maine for a vacation.
Hell yeah.
That'd be a good little trip. Okay. Let's see, Colin, you got the next theme. I guess you'll
Yes, I do.
Guess you'll think about that for a little while.
Actually, I've already decided.
Oh, have you?
I'm going to do the hat trick you guys suggested. Do another part 2.
Okay.
And this time it's going to be Star Wars Part 2.
Star Wars. Oh my god. Okay.
Yep, I've already got my games decided.
Okay, Star Wars. Done. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Bye now.